Hello guys, it is Christine. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video. If you're new here, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 and I share homeschool content here on this channel. So if you're interested in seeing more, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you, and come check us out on Instagram as well. I share there fairly often and try and show a little bit of day-to-day life and behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. My kids are 6, 4, and 2, so they're quite little, and we're in the early stages of homeschooling, but I love it. It is a passion of mine, and I'm always happy to help and to just be supportive of other homeschooling parents who may need it. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe and follow and all the rest. Today I'm going to be talking about how to finish your school year strong, how to do it well. This video is in collaboration with Jessica from the Waldock Way and also Abby from Rooted in Rest, 2 ladies that I really love and admire. They put together this collaboration last year. They started it where they ask other homeschooling moms, parents on YouTube to chime in about a specific topic every month to show everyone that homeschooling does not have to be done one particular way. Different strokes for different folks. And so today's topic that we're chatting about is how to finish your school year strong, and I'm going to leave a link to the playlist down in the description below so you can go check out all of the other lovely ladies' videos. So I'm going to share my tips. We have technically only done one full year of homeschooling. I'm looking at my iPad because I've written all my stuff down. We've technically only completed 1 full year of homeschooling, but we did do a half year, so we've finished 2 years so far. And I will share my tips for how I feel the lessons that I've learned, because mine certainly haven't ended perfectly yet, but there are lessons that I've learned and things that I've implemented now to try and finish better in the future. So my first thing is to overschedule, and I know that everyone is going to be like, ugh, there's this big trend in the homeschool world where schedules are the devil and don't overschedule because you'll set yourself up for failure, and I get it. I totally get that, but for some of us, myself, things do not get done if I don't write them down and I don't set goals. If I don't, then I flounder and nothing productive happens. And so I need schedules. And the way that I have found works best for us and to accommodate the things that life throws at us is to actually overschedule. So I kind of overplan our weeks, or at least the beginning of our year. I make it a bit heavier at the beginning, so that as things bump into us and we have to change things and be flexible, we've got wiggle room at the end of the year. And so I'm not stressed about cramming a whole bunch of schoolwork in at the end of the year. So that's my first tip, is to kind of overplan, try and do more so that you've got a bit more wiggle room in the future. My next tip is to finish off with a unit study. Now here in New Zealand, it's quite cool because our school year finishes in December, technically. Now, I finish our formal school, our formal subjects at the end of November, and that gives us all of December to basically do what we want. And what works really well for us is to do a Christmas unit study. But even if you're not in a place that finishes school at the end of the calendar year, I think it would be really fun for you to plan on doing a unit study at the end of your school year, because it's just kind of a fun way to wind down without the pressures of all the formal academics. Not that unit studies aren't formal academics, but you know what I mean? Without all the textbooks and all that kind of stuff. It's just a fun way of being together as a family and doing more group stuff together. So I would say that would be my second tip, is to plan on doing a unit study at the end of your school year. My third tip is to take a field trip, or field trips plural. So plan on doing something fun as a family at the end of the school year, something that you can work towards and look towards, and it can be a great motivator for your kids, especially if you have older kids, to get their schoolwork finished so that you can go and do that trip. Again, here in New Zealand, we receive a payment once or twice a year, actually, that goes towards schooling. It's not a heck of a lot of money, but it's something. And my mom, when I was a kid, used to put all that money aside to do a big fun field trip at the end of the year as a family, and that's kind of something that I'm thinking of taking on as well, because it was just really great for us kids. We would go do something fun, and it didn't necessarily have to be educational. It was just something that we did together that was fun as a family. Number 4, don't overcommit. I think we can all be guilty of feeling like we need to cram in a bunch of stuff. And I just think that we need to be mindful that most of us by the end of the year are feeling pretty burnt out, including your kids, and that you should just have realistic expectations about how you are going to feel mentally by the end of the school year. So for us, because school ends around Christmas time, things are busy. There are just more activities. There's church events. There are, I'm baking with the kids and we're doing all the traditional stuff. I'm buying presents and I have to be busy doing that stuff. And so I just have to be so aware of that and try not to overcommit. And I just think that's a really wise thing to take on, and not to think you can do all the things, because it will ruin the atmosphere, and that's not really how you want to end your school year. Which kind of ties in with my last point, and that is to not stress about finishing every little lesson. Now, I know in some circumstances this may be important, like if you're handing in portfolios or your kid's going to college or whatever. But I think for most of us, it's not actually going to be detrimental if you don't finish every lesson in the book. There are going to be times where you and your kids just have to knuckle down and get it done. But at the end of the school year, everyone's just over it. And I feel like it's just wise to lower your expectations and to focus more on connections instead of academics, because that's what your kids are going to remember. They're probably not going to remember the math lesson that you crammed into their brain at the very end because you just had to get the book completed. They're not going to remember that. Try and do more hands-on stuff. Maybe do more math and things like that in real life situations. Do baking, do woodwork, do that kind of stuff, because it's just more important to focus on that. And that was a lesson I certainly had to learn last year, and one that I think I have to learn every day with my kids, because they're not always on board with things, and it's okay to be okay with it. So we are very new homeschoolers, really, and I feel a little bit like I shouldn't be sharing all these tips because I haven't had that much experience with it yet. But these are the lessons that I've learned thus far. These are ideas that I have in my idea bag that I have to pull out of every now and again to keep us going and balanced. And if you're new, if you're wondering how to do things, or you just need a refresher, hopefully these tips are helpful for you. So please go ahead and check out the other ladies' videos. They are always so full of wisdom and just encouragement. And yeah, I would recommend that you go and check them out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.